Okay, I decided to go ahead and live stream this to a broader audience because it's a basic praying mantis, northern praying mantis, 7-star form that a lot of people would like to brush up on. We have a little bit of a different take on it. Ours is a little bit more physical. And when I say physical, I mean there's more body in it and more full body contact in our version of the praying mantis. And that's because of the heavy Baji influence as well as the bodily influences we have in our system. It's one of those things where once a certain type of energy is added to your palate, you can't really take it out. So, I'm not saying that it's better or worse than anybody else's style. I'm just letting you know that Grandmaster Su had a lot of Baji influence on all of his praying mantis motions. Now, could he play them separate without it? Of course. He's a mantis king, or was, I should say. Unfortunately, we don't have him with us anymore, and we don't have a mantis king. But he'll always be remembered. So, for him, I shall do this one. I've got a couple of candles here. Those of you that are on my Patreon will get both versions. That's actually a phone. It looks like it's a little bit crooked right now. We'll climb up there and fix that real quick. Just be patient. I don't think so. Okay, well. Good as I can. Okay, so the intro of this form and all of the other 7-star forms, many of the Newa forms, and the Babu forms that came from the Mantis King, we're going to do the eagle claw exercise. Okay, well, this is an isometric exercise, and it should be done with your breathing. So first you're going to go in, breathe, out, breathe. Now you're going to claw. Fingers are going to close to a very tight fist. They're going to be high. Okay? At the end of the form, you will do the same thing, only after you do this, you will go down and relax. Okay? So, this is just an exercise for the arms. Do not read into it the old Shaolin fist technique, which they used to do like this. They take their hand and they curl here, here, and then they put their thumb here so that the fist was square and perfect and very difficult to break. This is outdated. It's absolutely useless, at least in my system, or my master system, I should say, because he's still here. This is the slowest punch that you can possibly have, so you need to relax. We're going to use the Baji fist. The Baji fist collapses on its own into the perfect position, and the way that that happens is when it makes contact, it closes itself. Now, does this happen perfect? Yes, after you practice, okay? I can punch with an open hand, so I'll demonstrate that real quick, just to get this off get this part off the table. Because 7-star praying mantis, well, actually, all of our praying mantis calls for lightning speed. Lightning speed and a strike cannot happen with a limb that is tightened. And I know all my official students, especially the ones on Patreon, have heard this over and over, and they've already seen this demonstration. I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. Okay, so I'm actually going to have to get a little closer to the live stream camera. so you can see. Okay. When I say I throw a punch with an open hand, I literally mean it. Okay. So let's see if this is the right angle. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So this is the Baji fist that I'm talking about. So an angle like that so you can see it close. Now you're going to focus on the one knuckle. Not like Okinawan karate where they focus on the two knuckles. You're going to focus on the one knuckle. And you're going to allow that knuckle to be the first moment of impact. The reason for the focus of the one knuckle is because it's the only one that can be perfectly aligned with that bone. Anywhere else, and your wrist takes a toll. Even the middle finger. I know it's going to hair lip a lot of karate experts, but I've broken my hand so many times I can't even tell you how many times. I don't even know how many times it's been. And as you get old, like me, when you get in your 50s, things start to hurt. So don't break your arms. So literally, over years of letting this thing collapse, it's gotten to the point where I can throw it instead of like this, even like this. Now my thumb has to be out of the way, obviously. So I just tuck it back. And I can throw full strength. I'm going to do full opposition now, so that you don't think that I'm leaving any power on the table. Okay, open here. Now it's collapsing, so you probably can't see it because it's moving so fast. But anyway, it takes a while. The Grandmaster Young had me learn this by laying on the wall and on the floor. And that's here. And here again, he was an actual combatant, so I believe him over a whole bunch of other people. Because at the time in Taiwan, their special forces guys were way more effective with their hands before they even got guns. Okay. So at the time he was in and before, going back to the end of the dynasty, the last dynasty, those guys had to be proficient with their hands all the time. Knives, bladed weapons, things like that. Then guns. So these tactics are not old, and they are combat tested. So this is the exercise. And basically you're leaving your hand basically open and just leaning on the concrete or on the concrete floor. Okay, back to the eagle claw and Bung. Now, as soon as you get your hands ready, you're going to look that way, to the left. Now, the first level is just a smack to the outside and a very low punch. But the actual motion has to be timed so that you're at a 45-degree angle. So as soon as you step out, bam, bam. Okay, so the first motion is moving his arm out of the way. We only have Bobby today. I've got a crazy next couple of weekends, so I usually do my live streams on Saturday for Patreon students, but this week and next week are taken, and next week is a very special Saturday because our MMA team is getting out there and being tested out in the end. Okay, or one fighter actually, but the whole team isn't going. Just the husband and wife, and she's not fighting, he definitely is. Okay, so here we go. Bob throws his hand this way, and I go in. take the eyes. Okay. The concept of Bung emphasizes the concept of praying mantis burst from the cave. So the next part of this form, I'm going to go slow, but it should be done very, very quickly. And in our system, it's whole body weight bearing down on the target and pushing him back as much as possible. That concept will not go away, okay? That concept just permeates the whole system that we use, even the MMA system. We don't ever back off the pressure ever. Okay, and that comes from the concept of military applications. So we're going to go 1, 2, then we're going to go. Okay, so the stomp is a replacement step. But the stomp is actually a kick to the shin, very low. There's a place on the shin where bad things happen when you kick that way. And that's across the board. It's hard for somebody to move their foot out of the way because the back, the heel, is actually more like an eraser or a stopper. And so the ankle takes the brunt of the attack. This is just slipping inside. In boxing, Western boxing, and even in Chinese boxing, we call it the slip. So we're not trying to block a punch. There are a few blocks in Bung. It's a little more archaic because it's the older, it's an old form. But later on, you'll see, if you join us with Patreon or something, that concept disappears. So anyway, 1, 2, 3, go. Boom, boom, burst, slam, full body slam. Then from the full body slam here, you're going to go in. So push them back. Right now, exit the cage. So we just did the whole thing. Now keep in mind, these sequential motions are not the same person. If they're still there after you kick them in the, well, we didn't show the kick yet. The second level actually has a kick after this. So you're going to kick the groin and stab the eyes at the same time. If he's still hanging out at that point, you may want to run. Okay. And definitely, if he's still around after this next 2 motions, you definitely want to run, or 3 motions. So these 3 motions could be subsequent on the same target. So slip the punch, bam, push, pass, punch, all the way through. Okay? I'm putting my palm in the same exact spot where I intend to put my fist, which is a standard operating procedure in the Wuhan system. Clear the path that you know is clear, and that's the path that you enter. So I'm using my palm, and this is all personal. I'm using my palm right on the Zypher process, and using my full body. So this push is every bit as brutal as the punch. Then we're going to do the Superman. I don't like the Superman that much unless they're backing up quite a bit. The Superman is basically a jump where you clear. So this is a parry, not a block, at least in my lexicon. Okay. At the same time that happens, this punch comes out. Boom, boom, boom. But the unseen consequence in the Superman is the knee to the groin. Unfortunately for men, training this is very groin-centric. And if a lady learns it properly, get it right. Because girls kick way better than men. Maybe not with as much physical force, but the mechanics of a female kick far outweighs any man's out kick. And I know this because I've been teaching for a long time. I've had female and male MMA and sandshell fighters, so the ladies always kick perfect. So watch those girls when they try to kick. Okay, so I'm going to clear. I'm going to clear. So one, make sure I get the right side. No, it's the opposite. That's another thing you learn about me is I got a little problem with dyslexia. So sometimes I get twisted, but it doesn't make any difference when it comes to natural movement. So push, punch, that's what I made a mistake. I'm going to clear. Okay. So that's throat, groin. If it's the ring, it's head, thigh. Okay. After we clear, you're going to grab on the way down and use a crushing elbow onto the joint, which is what I call striking arm bars. Okay, so down, grab the arm, push it down, back fist to whatever's available. The next motion is a very unlikely motion that you probably won't use, but I guess if you're strong like my big disciple or my bigger MMA fighters, you might be able to pull it off. So it's a directional, it's called a transition in my lexicon. Remember transition because transition is very important. Transition is absolute essential to close quarters combat. You need to be able to move from one target to the next one in a fluid way with balance, speed, and extreme force. Okay? So transition. So we're down here. I'm going to throw. Basically, I'm grabbing somebody's arm. Next guy probably, because this guy's hurt. And I'm fling. But the difference between the fling is I'm not going to let go. I'm going to do the arm bar break right here. So here, fling, punch, hammer fist, punch. 1, 2, hammer fist, punch. Then I'm going to uproot. Okay, uproot meaning. Now when I uproot, I was just putting my hand in. I literally begin the process of Chensujin, which is a complicated thing, and I don't have time to describe today, but it is on the picture. So I'm going to uproot. Facing the camera, uproot this camera. Okay. Facing this camera. Okay, so the uproot, I might be able to pull this off. Let me see. Using a training tool. Okay. Well, this one's done. Hold on, that's sort of ugly. Just give it time. Helps a lot more. Yes, here. It's Friday, not Saturday. The other students are doing the day jobs. All right, for a second. Okay, uproot. Okay, I'm gonna grab a hold of his arm and put my 7-star foot behind and slam. Okay? Now the difference between what I'm doing and what you'll see in a lot of different Bung schools or praying schools is I'm actually literally body checking. Because as I said before, Baji is permeated with all of our praying hands. So we do it that way. So the 7-star stance is like this. And so a lot of people lead with the elbow. I do as well. But I go through. So here's what you have to remember. Through. I mean through. So when I say through, I'm going to go here. Now I'm taking his real estate. Way through. What ends up happening, 9 times out of 10, especially if they're strong, is that the arm ends up in this vicinity, which is very effective, very helpful. So basically, the other camera in this vicinity. All right, so I step through. Now sometimes I jump. Doesn't really matter. If I want to jump, I go here, here, and then. Okay. That's for performance. The way I showed you before, that's the way we fight. Okay, so we're here. I'm going to slip again. Slip. And this is a protection from our praying hands. Because we saw here, this is the protection that they had. Okay? So that's what that is. So I'm going to clear, push as hard as I can off to the 45 to steal the center and strike. If he moves and he tries to strike back, I grab with the praying man's claw and pull him down. Okay, if I have his arm here, which is underneath the elbow and the wrist, I'm going. Okay, so when I push him to go here, eyes, groin. So I pull him down, go, and then rip. Clear, super chop. Okay, super chop's on the platform. A lot of people like using it for arms. That's fine too. Let it go. Now, 7-star famous elbow. In. Both sticks. Okay. Body influence with that motion, that series of motions. Okay. The elbow, spinning elbow. Famous. Now you're going to learn how to transition again. Okay. Going back to the concept of transition. Struck that way. Again. With the spinning elbow thrust to the unsafe region. Doesn't put them down. Run. Okay. You're going to push. So this is a surrounding type of effort. And that happens even more and more with the bottom block and with the little right mass than 7-star. 7 stars very effective, but much more simplistic. So we're going to go from this position into the transition. Target moving ahead. Okay, so we have one, push. That's a post. Stops the vibrator. So you're going to hit 3 times in the same spot. Okay? Elbow. Transition. Transition number 2, or 3 or 4, whatever we're on. So again, subject striking. I'm parrying. When I parry, I need to move everything. I gotta find a way to tie him to give him an arm or a spear or something. So it makes more sense. Bear with me 1 second. Spear. Try to get through this whole thing because one of my private students is really wanting this deep dive. I have limited time to get. All right, a little bit sharp. We should be okay. Come on. Okay, so I'm only going to show one side because Bung is doing both sides, and you don't need to see. It's exactly the same, basically. So when you're starting out as a young fledgling praying mantis, and you're not that quick, we have a rule. You stay out of the kill zone, or the kill box, I should say. I had to revamp that. Basically, that's the V. There's a V going off each flank or of the target, and this works for individual, squad, division, whatever. These are tactics that are the same across all military schools of thought because it's been so highly trained for the past several thousand years. It's tried, tested, and true. It's also something they teach in federal law enforcement. So you're gonna go sideways from the flank. You have to try to stay out of there. So when you're in the early stages, later on, when you become the master of the combat, close quarters combat, you want to be inside right here all the time. Okay. So this motion, we transition from here. I'm going to parry. Now I'm using a lot of Leo hook energy, and when I play my praying mantis, it's always Leo hook looking. In fact, I don't stomp at all, but I'm doing that for your benefit because 7th star does stomp. If I'm going to parry the arm, I'm going to uproot and twist. So I was even able to move a 12-foot spear pretty easily, if you noticed. And it's not like this is like that song. It's for easy exercise. So the parry opens up here. Once you get rid of the parry, you're going to put 7th star foot behind him and chop. Okay? This hand is going to ride the inside of the limb so that it doesn't get on top of you. Because this is a guillotine. This position could cause a guillotine if you're not careful on you. And those of you that don't know grappling, it's probably going to be hard for you to understand what I'm saying, but I don't really have time to go over that. Go to the jiu-jitsu channels and I'll tell you. I train it, but I don't teach it because I believe the experts in that field should be teaching it, not me. So here I am, clear. So the back foot, you don't have any back feet. Seven step. Hooked, hooked. Not like this, like this. Hooked on the calf. There's 2 rows in a row, so we're going to get 1, 2. Now it's going to get a little bit dancey. So I'm going to go, okay, all that is me pushing his arm down very hard, which causes his head to come out, and then this one's hitting underneath the chin, okay? You could actually, Leo would never do that, Leo would do a regular flat chop. It'd do the same tactic, but wouldn't do man's claw. Now it's the fancy part. So I go 1. Then I'm going to jump kick. Something I would never do with my toe, but this is an old system. The eye and the throat. The eyes get the claw, 2 fingers. The throat gets the toe. Drop, going strike. Here's another thing. This is traditional right mantis. This hand's back here. Don't ever keep your hand over in front of yourself. Okay? If you're doing this tactic, you're going to be like this. Protecting your carotid. But in the traditional form, they're trying to teach you how to get full force. Everything gets squeezed down after a while. Right now, you're just trying to get the traditional form. So that's here. 1, 2, 3. Now, second level only. I'm not going to do the first level because it's 5,000 of them on the internet and like that little taste. So I'm going to drop and strike. Sorry about me, I delicious beer. Yeah. That one gets it. Okay, so clear. So push down with arms. It's the break the clinch. So we're here, boom, kick, down, break the clinch. This arm goes behind the neck. This one goes in front. So it's break the clinch. Instead of a 7-star stance, which actually I prefer because it would be very useful in this particular situation, this is going into a 60-40. A quick note on the 60-40. 60-40 was specifically used, 60% in the back, 40% in the front, to enable faster kicking. However, if you train Baji and you do a lot of stances, that's no longer necessary because you can kick and you can get up. So I train 50-50. 50-50 means 50 weight on each leg, 50%, but it also means half bow stance, half bow. So it's a very quick and mobile way to move forward with complete stability, okay? And it also serves to shore up the Tang on Bung, and it can transition into a 70-30, which is a mobility stance, much like we see SWAT teams using when they're moving in and out of things. Okay, so break the clinch. Now, the old traditional one goes with the crane stance, and that's a joint strike. But the problem with holding your knee up like that is the lack of stability. That's why I'm showing the second one. So, clear. Backhanding with those. Clear. Right here. Right on the hip. Wham. Again, traditional hands back here because they want full extension. Once you get used to full extension, your other hand's going to be in the pocket. Part of the delta that we use in Wu-Tang, especially the Baji delta, which is up, or the Baji delta, which is, or it can be open hand, or Baji delta, which can be either or. Okay, so one, literally that fast. One. Okay, again, one, clear, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you can make all of these strikes. That's entirely up to you. But for the traditional form, it isn't. The last one's a strike. The other ones are whipping their arms out of the way to clear so you can hit. This one is a strike. Right on the bridge of the nose. Or the eye side. Okay, so and then now these are the birth of lightning fist, which is way later in the 6 harmony crane dance, but the concept's the same. So you're putting quick rounds on target, same spot. Bam, 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 bam. See, we put the full body, full opposition, okay? Then the next motion is a giant clear. So again, Bob's arms here. I'm not going to put the spear on because you've already seen me do that. So I go bam, 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 bam. I'm going to go bam. Now I'm not going to go all the way out. I know they do 99.9% of the Bung boost videos that you've seen. That's because they're trying to show you they want full sync. So traditionally, it goes down to here. But you don't need to get all the way. Just go 1. Here, that's more than enough. 2 arms, full body dropping down on one arm, and then nothing. Okay, so I hit with both hands. I don't know what your masters out there tell you to do. I never put a weapon out that isn't striking. So if I go here, both arms are going to hit, and then both arms are going to hit here too. Okay. Now for the final line. So the transition is going to be a series of throws. So these circles need to be practiced separately. Okay, you end up like this. When I was teaching kids, I used to call Homie the Clown. Because Homie the Clown from In Living Color used to walk around. That was a long time ago. So you're clearing 2 limbs and you're getting into a dragon stance. But only a dragon stance in transition. Okay? High level praying mantis, even 7-star, doesn't have stops in between these things. So I go here. So I'm going counterclockwise, then I'm going to chop and protect my karate. But I'm also going to sweep their front leg towards the opposite way of the chop. So here, 1, 2, 3, slam. Okay. I'm only going to show it once because all 3 are the same. Our system, Grandmaster Sue and Grandmaster Yang, we teach this as a crushing throw. Okay? Not just a groin strike. In fact, I don't even bother to try to strike any groin on this one. This is another full flank crush. Because the scenario and the form is he picked up his foot and you missed. So now you you're here. which means he's going to come after you if you don't keep going. So I'm going to allow the foot to stay where it's at. I'm going to bear down with my hip, and I'm going to put this arm behind me, and I'm going to slam way through it. My Bob's 300 pounds, and his weight's inside the bottom, so he's not going far. But I can tell you right now, my 200-pound students, my heavyweights, fly when that comes in, because I'm going to go through. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're only about 6 to 8 inches away from them when you start to enter. The bow stance is absolutely necessary because their response is going to be to try to hold on to you, and that wedge makes it very difficult. Okay. There's going to be 3 of those in a row. We're wrapping the form up. So we're going to go this way. Clear, go, in. Now I'm going to step over. Right foot. This time I go clockwise with my circle. Clear, clear. 4, 5. Jump in. That was actually pretty weak as far as jump in. I have to take my own device here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to. That is another uprooting parry. So the same thing that I told you about this. I'm going to clear this way, which takes the limb out from that side. So on Bob's orientation. One more body. What we do that? Okay, so his arm here, his right arm. So if he's let's say he's standing southpaw, or he did a cross from tradition, or I should say orthodox, not tradition. So this hand's here. So I just got the last guy through a Bob coming in. I'm going to clear the right strike. Then I'm going to uproot and grab the second strike and hit him. I'm going to put my 7-star foot behind him. So 1, 2. Okay? Now the grab can either end, and you can grab his neck, because you're going to push in the groin area again. Or you could go 1, 2, scratch across the eyes, and then even go 3, 4, whatever. But that's not in the traditional form. In the traditional form, the very old traditional form, they're actually holding on to and digging in the groin. I don't recommend that for smaller fighters. You try grabbing the wrong person, you're going to end up with a lot of trouble. Somebody unsuspecting me trying to grab that disciple steward. Good Lord. Anyway, so you're here. Now this punch is a very effective punch, but it doesn't look like it. I really don't have a lot of time to go into why, but it's on the Patreon. From here, I'm going to go cross, back. Then I'm going to curl and grab his return, his response. Grab his response. So 1, 2, 3. This is all in one motion, even the 4th. So technically this is 1. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to end after that, like turn around. So I know I got all twisted around and everything, but literally, the form goes like, I'm just going to talk. Got a meeting. I'm running out of time here. Okay, I got a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to go slow. I'll show you the whole form. Angle leg. There's a million videos of people doing it fast. Oh, I forgot to do this at the end. Because I'm in the trade in 6 harmony minutes at this point. Well, bottom number 1. Baji in 6 harmony after that. But when you start out, this exercise will help you get a better grip. And also to build your wrists, as well as leaning on the wall or on the floor. Okay, well that's Bung. Visit us at patreon.com/GodSpear CQB. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful afternoon.